Okay, so let's set the stage. At the start of the 2025 season, the Detroit Lions were on top of the world. I mean, they were coming off one of the best years in franchise history, and the expectations, they were through the roof. The whole city was buzzing, the team was confident, a deep playoff run didn't just feel possible, it felt, inevitable. And it wasn't just fans who thought so. According to the folks at ESPN Analytics, the Lions kicked off the season with a 67% chance of making the playoffs. That was the fifth best odds in the entire league. Everything, and I mean everything, was pointing in the right direction. But this is the NFL, and things can change in a heartbeat. And for the Lions, it all came crashing down to this. One simple, gut-wrenching quote from their quarterback, Jared Goff. It sucks. So the big question is, how does a team with a 67% chance to make the postseason end up here? Well, the story of this collapse really has one definitive final chapter. It all went down on Christmas evening. In a do-or-die game against the Minnesota Vikings, their whole season was hanging in the balance. This was it. This was the moment of truth. And that truth? It was brutal. A 23-10 loss. And just like that, the dream was completely over. That nightmare storyline that Jared Goff himself said he couldn't have imagined before the season, well, it had come true. But a collapse like this doesn't just happen overnight. The Lions roared out of the gate with a 5-2 record, looking every bit the contender everyone thought they were. And then, the wheels just came off. They dropped 4 of their last 5 games, a totally disastrous final stretch that ended with that season-killing loss in Week 17. So how did it all go so wrong? To really get it, we have to look at the numbers from that final fatal game. Because this wasn't just a loss, it was a complete and total statistical meltdown. 6. That's the number. In the most important game of their entire season, the Detroit Lions committed 6 turnovers. And that's not just bad, that's a season high. A catastrophic number of mistakes when the margin for error was basically 0. And get this, of those 6 turnovers, 5 of them came directly from the team's leader, quarterback Jared Goff. We're talking 2 interceptions and 3 lost fumbles. That tied his career high for turnovers in a single game, and it happened at the absolute worst possible time. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Goff was also sacked 5 times. The pocket was just collapsing around him under this relentless pressure from the Vikings defense, which, goes a long way in explaining why all those mistakes were happening in the first place. And here's the stat that makes this all so shocking. Before this game, the Lions were the most secure team with the football in the entire league. Through 16 weeks, they'd only committed 8 turnovers total, the fewest in the NFL. Then, in one single game, they almost matched that entire season's total. Their greatest strength became their fatal flaw right when it mattered most. It was just a relentless cascade of errors. It started early, with Goff fumbling a snap in the first quarter. Then running back Jahmyr Gibbs coughed one up in the second. The fourth quarter was a complete disaster, with 2 more fumbles from Goff, plus 2 interceptions mixed in. It felt like every single time they tried to build some momentum, another mistake would just completely derail them. Now, to his credit, Goff didn't really make excuses. He pointed right at the Viking strategy, basically admitting they got out-schemed. In his own words, they had a good plan and exploited some things on us. And when you look at the data, you can see exactly how they did it. So whenever Goff was under pressure, which happened on a staggering 38% of his dropbacks, his performance just plummeted. He completed only 4 of 8 passes and threw an interception. He just could not handle the heat that the Vikings were bringing all game long.
But beyond all the stats and the strategy, there's the human side of it, right? For the players who had such incredibly high hopes, the reality of the season ending in failure, well, that's a really bitter pill to swallow.
I mean, just look at this. You have Jared Goff's own words from before the season saying he couldn't even imagine a world where they'd miss the playoffs. Then you have the cold, hard reality after that Christmas game, his exact nightmare coming true. The whiplash from that level of optimism to that depth of disappointment has got to be immense.
And it wasn't just the quarterback feeling that way. Veteran tackle Penei Sewell was just as blunt about it. "We weren't ready," he said. Simple as that. I mean, wow, that's a stunning admission from a key player on a team that was supposed to be a real contender.
So, with the season officially in the books, the focus immediately shifts. The blame game starts, and the entire organization has to face some very, very tough questions about where they go from here.
Head coach Dan Campbell made it crystal clear that this outcome is just not acceptable. You can feel the frustration in this quote. He promised a top-to-bottom evaluation of everything, saying he's going to look at himself first, but that big changes could be on the horizon.
And that evaluation has to go beyond just one bad game. The context here really matters. I mean, this was the team that lost both its coordinators in the offseason. They were battling key injuries, like losing their starting left tackle, Taylor Decker, right before that final game. It kind of feels like their hot 5-2 start might have been masking some deeper issues that were there all along.
And maybe this final thought from Coach Campbell is the ultimate lesson of the Lions' entire season. Success in the NFL is just incredibly fragile. The line between a 15-win season and watching the playoffs from your couch is so much thinner than any of us really think. A few key losses, a few bad bounces, and everything can just get off balance.
The Lions' 2025 season is really a stark reminder of the brutal nature of pro sports. And it leaves all of us asking that same lingering question. How on earth does a team with so much promise, with such sky-high expectations, fall apart so completely and so quickly?